Tell me your CI. What's your cylinder index? How many cylinders do you own?
DOT is listening. They better tune out.
Welcome back to this episode of the Peace and Grease podcast. And we are all about that Midwest motor culture and trying to promote hot rodding, rat rods, home-built stuff. And we absolutely love sitting down and meeting new people and old friends and having cool guys like you on. And so we're excited because you're going to tell us about your build. But I am Flannel Phillip, that is Sinclair behind the camera, and we're sitting down today with
Chris Wenner.
Chris, I usually start off by just having you give us like the 30-second bio of like who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then after that, I'm going to ask you what your cylinder index number is. So hopefully you've had enough time to think about how many cylinders you own, because they don't have to all be running, but if they run on some sort of fuel, either gasoline or diesel, give us your CI. So,
right.
Yeah, go ahead and jump in.
So, Chris Wenner, you heard, I live in a massive town of Cortland between New Ulm and Mankato. Like, population's like 700.
So, small town.
Very small.
Minnesota.
Yep, Minnesota.
All right on.
I grew up out at my dad's house before that, south of Sleepy Eye out in the middle of nowhere. That's where that thing usually spends its winters, but now that I got my own place, a couple of years ago, might find a new home to sit in the winter and stuff.
Follow-up question. Tell me your CI. What's your cylinder index? How many cylinders do you own?
Quick add them up. I think like 18 or 19 between this truck, my daily truck, dirt bike, and lawnmower.
Nice. That's a good solid number. Yeah. So what do you do?
I do maintenance at 3M in New Ulm, mechanic.
Cool.
Do that for my main job, and started doing photography and drone work on the side. And
awesome. And that's kind of been a hobby for you, is photography?
Well, so
it's like a passion, huh?
Kind of. My dad got me into classic cars with his Trans Am, and been going to car shows for as long as I can remember, and always taking hundreds of pictures of cars on my phone. And then started the drone business, so I might as well get a camera, and now I'm taking pictures of cars at car shows and stuff, and doing motorcycle races and dirt bike races and stuff.
Cool. That's awesome. And so you said you've turned it into a business.
Yep.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yep. Started investing in better cameras than the cell phone, and good drones and stuff, and just kind of making what I did on my phone for fun and somewhat getting paid for. Kind of cool to have a hobby that pays.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you study photography in school at all, or?
No, just took pictures on my phone, and then my cousin was like showing me how to get better angles of cars at like back to the 50s and stuff with the phones and stuff, and it's like kind of really like started like looking back, I don't like the pictures of like the cars and stuff, but then just practicing, getting better.
Yeah, that's awesome. That for most people, that's how it is. You look back at your work from years ago and you're like, oh, this is terrible. What was I thinking?
I can even look back at stuff I took a couple months ago and like, I wish I would have changed something different.
For sure. I can totally relate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you brought in today.
Well,
so good. Go ahead and tell us about what you brought in today.
My 52 Ford Cabover. It's more Chevy than Ford because it's got the Chevy RV underneath it.
Okay.
But it was car hauler. I can't take the credit for building it, but it's something I wanted, and I just happened to find this one on Craigslist for my price range, and I know those cabs are hard to find, so I had to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
And when I saw it in person, I just had to get it.
That's so cool. So 1952, and it sits up a little bit higher than a pickup truck, and there's some similarities to a pickup, but it was like a heavier duty truck if it was an F6. Is that correct?
Yep. Those
Yeah.
were, remember, they're 1 ton or bigger, where the F6s. And can't remember if they had the standard cab in the F6s or if the F6 was strictly the Cabovers.
Sure.
So I think F5s were the bigger pickups.
Sure. That's cool. I love the patina that it's got on it. That orange, and you can tell it was hand painted, like hand lettered, with the lettering and the numbers and things like that on it. So talk a little bit about that, because you've uncovered some stuff recently about the history of this truck. So talk about that.
Been trying to decode some of it. It's between some of it looking like it was either painted over, and some of it's just so faded because it had to have been painted somewhere between the 50s and the 70s. Can make out like kind of the name on the driver's side, and it says Interstate, which trucking company. And I just today found out that one of the letters on this side I think is Fairboat. wish it was a little bit clearer to see, but maybe try to do some more paint restoration stuff to get it to show a little better.
Cool.
Because I like the patina and I love old hand painted. I mean, you do pinstriping, and I just love that hand painted signs and lettering. It just looks so cool. And when you have the vintage stuff, like it just, I don't know. I can't see how I could ever paint over something that was done way before I was born. And someone did it either because it was for a job, but they put effort into it.
Yeah.
I can't cover that.
That's right. Yeah. I love that. You want to retain the history and the story that the truck has to tell. That's really cool.
Ask any car guy, what's something that you'd like to change in your build? And I guarantee he'll say something about the electrical wiring. Because just like going shoe shopping with your girl, it can feel overwhelming and hopeless. But great news, the Piece and Grease podcast is sponsored by Wirecare. They've got all the connectors and terminal ends, sleeving, heat shrink, zip ties, and all the tools to make your project's electrical wiring something to be proud of and show off at the next cruise night, because it's done safe and organized and done right. We're excited to be working with Wirecare at the Piece and Grease HQ, so go check out their products and tools at wirecare.com.
What color was this truck originally? Do you know?
It was red underneath. According to old timer I talked to, he actually worked for Interstate, and he remembered driving a truck almost exactly like this one, and said that they painted them orange, that they came red when they first got them.
Wow.
I wish I could have seen what it looked like when it was brand new. I saw a picture of it when the guy that built it pulled it out of the Grove, and it was still on the original frame and wheels and stuff, which was still kind of cool. I don't know if I have those pictures anymore, but
Sure. No, that's cool. But you can tell that there's some red on the dash. There's red in the doors.
yep. The roof liner's gone, and that's all red. And then on the back, they must have had something on the back, because you can see where the back of the cab, they didn't paint the middle of the cab orange. It's red in the middle and tapers off on the outside, so the corners are about as far as they went. So there must have been something on the back.
Yeah. Awesome. That's cool. Now, you said that it's sitting on a Chevrolet chassis.
Yep.
Yeah. What can you tell us about that? Like,
It's like a 79, if I remember right, motorhome with 400 small block Chevy, and then the TH400 transmission, and it's got the dualies and all that still off the original.
cool. As far as you know, is it the stock wheelbase that it would have been on a motorhome chassis?
As far as I can tell, yeah, I didn't see any cuts on the frame or anything.
Sure.
And having the flatbed for hauling cars, you pretty much need all of it.
I suppose. Yeah. Yep. So when you bought this thing from the guy that built it, did he build the flatbed and everything? Okay.
So he built the truck and then built the bed, and then he even had a 52 Ford pickup on the back of it. So matching grill.
Man,
That's
awesome.
He had that for sale, but he sold it to a friend before I messaged him, so I just barely missed out on that. But I saw a picture of it on the back, and they looked pretty good. It wasn't orange; it's like gray or silver, if I remember right. But they look so good together.
Love it. That's awesome. So because it's a little bit more modern chassis and it's got the V8 under it, then things like in the doghouse and the floor and stuff like that had to be changed. So it doesn't, as you're sitting in it, like we took a ride earlier and sitting in it.
I forgot to warn you that I was a little tight on that side. I hope you're feeling skinny today.
No, it's fine. Totally fine. And it's totally worth it because, it's a rat rod, so you work around with what you got. But this thing has such a cool look to it that if somebody's just listening to the audio, you're not going to appreciate it as much as if you're seeing the video and you can actually see what this truck looks like. But that 1952 Ford grill is just so distinct.
It's one of those grills that you see it, and I think, what is it? 49 or 50 is, I think, when they started that style, and 52 or 53 is the last year they did it. So it's like a small window that they had that grill, but you see it and it's one of those years.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of them are 52, or at least people say they're 52.
Okay.
The title on it's actually a 49. If the DOT is listening, they better tune out.
And why is that? The title says
just
that.
how when he built it, he got because the cab didn't have a title with it, so he got 49 title.
Got it. Okay.
With
Cool.
The other parts of the truck or something.
Sure. Yeah. And when something's this old and pieced together from other stuff, that it probably doesn't matter that
yeah,
big.
they didn't care too much when I brought it in. They actually, I showed them in the DOT office or whatever, and they thought it was kind of cool when they were writing up the title. Like, pay my $200 to write the title for it, and off you go with new plates.
Cool. They're probably like, as long as the tires are legal and all the lights work and you got wipers, right? You have wipers?
No.
Okay.
Windex.
Got it.
It works. It deflects pretty good off of there. I've driven in a couple of rainstorms and gotten very wet because there's no side windows. But that's part of the whole rat rod life.
Sure. Absolutely, man. Yeah. Do you plan to put side windows in it someday?
Yeah, I'd like to. Me and some friends measured it out because I couldn't find anything like the regulators or the tracks for the windows, and I talked to the booths at like Back to the 50s, LMC, and some of the other ones, and I tell them it's an F6, and they give me a blank stare. What's that? Tell them it's a Ford truck, bigger than the pickup Cabover, and they like, oh, we know what Cabovers are, but we don't know anything about that. But we measured out the openings for like the access to the windows and the tracks and everything, and it's pretty much identical. Like the dimensions are exactly the same as the pickups. The only difference is on the door they cut out the front where the fender is, just because it's tucking the nose in a little bit more, and you got the engine under the truck. You don't have the room to have the fenders out front like on the pickups.
Sure. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Now, and these heavier trucks, because they sat up higher, there was a step that's kind of built into the...
This side's missing. Driver's side still is there.
Okay.
I won't really use it because that doesn't have as much support as it did on the fender.
Sure.
As the original setup.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And are these homemade running boards?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Homemade running boards. I think he told me he bought the toolboxes on the side from the train. They're like from an old service truck for like the train railroad.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. But they're functional. I mean, they're not just for looks. You can haul stuff around in them.
Yep. Tools. That's where I got the battery in, actually, in the one on this side, just because there's not much room under the hood.
You're right. Yeah. We were looking under the hood when we were outside, and it's kind of tight up in there because you got a V8 and
V8 and a truck that was meant to sit a lot higher than what it is.
That's right. And it probably would have had an inline six originally.
If I remember right, I think so.
Okay.
I knew when I first got the truck because I was big into it and looked it all up, and I kind of forgot because it's got the 400 in it, and that's more what my focus is on with it.
Sure. Yeah.
I tend to forget stuff sometimes.
Yeah, it's all right, man. Do you have plans that you'd like to do to it? Because you bought it, and then you had to let it sit for a while. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought a house 2 years ago and kind of neglected it, but
Oh, priorities, man.
yeah. I had my friend's 33 rat rod on the back of it for a couple of different car shows, and it works good. There's about a half-inch gap between the tires and the fenders, but when you hit bumps, it compresses the suspension just enough where they rub. You can actually see kind of heat marks on the tops of the fenders where the wheels were rubbing. So I got to put bags or stuff on it because I originally wanted this idea for my dad's Trans Am that he's had since high school, and that thing weighs a lot more than a rat rod does.
Sure.
I don't know the total weights off the top of my head of any of them,
Okay.
but
Yeah. Have you weighed this truck?
not yet. I got to get to it. I'm
Okay.
gonna go find a small town elevator that's got a scale just with the display out and just roll across it one night.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Good idea. Because I'm sure just the bed itself, like that's some heavy duty stuff that he built that out of.
Yeah, he put a lot of effort into it. I mean, it's solid. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you covered this. We were talking earlier, but you told me kind of the backstory of the longest drive that you took this on and stuff like that.
The longest drive I took it on was when I bought it. So I found it on Craigslist when Craigslist was still Facebook Marketplace hadn't quite taken over. I can't remember what year that was. It was at least 6 years ago. And it was in Marinette, Wisconsin, which I think is just north of Green Bay, if I remember. So it's like a 8 hour drive if you're going fast. Got up at like 4 in the morning to drive out and look at this thing. Only seen pictures of it, but got out there and fell in love with it after test driving it and looking at it. Drove it home. I think it took us like 10 hours. We had a couple stops and driving a little bit slower just because we're not in a hurry and it's old and wanted to make first time driving it,
Sure.
especially on a trip that big. Took it a little slow and definitely got a lot of attention. I think a couple gas stations on the way back, we had to sit and talk to people for like 10, 20 minutes because everyone loves it when you stop.
Hey, where's the fuel tank? I haven't asked you that yet.
The fuel tank is under the bed behind the driver tire.
Oh, okay.
That's another change I'm got to do. It's just a pipe that sticks out the side.
Got it. Okay.
Kind of awkward to fill, but I just haven't, between all my other hobbies and priorities like the house and stuff, I just have to prioritize stuff, and this thing, as much as I love it, kind of got put on the back burner.
No.
Unfortunately, but now that things are stabilizing, you guys got me to get it back out again. I'm gonna start putting more time and effort into it.
Good.
Make it more mine, and hopefully get cars on the back of it and get it out more.
Cool. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, you're gonna airbag it. Are you gonna do that to actually get the stance even lower? I mean, because when he put the cab on it, it already looks pretty slammed, which is awesome. But are you gonna like lower it with bags, or are you gonna actually just use the bags to raise the back?
That's where I'm conflicted because like I would like that look, but it definitely would have to be just for like laying it out at shows and stuff. Because I already get where like the toolboxes on the side and the front bumper scrape if I hit a driveway that's a little too inclined.
Sure.
But I think I could get it a little bit lower if I wanted for laying it out for like shows and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it probably wouldn't be all that difficult to pull the coil springs out of the front and put bags where the coils are at, and same with the leaves, just put the bags between the axles and stuff. But yeah. So I wasn't sure, like, if you're going to bag it for...
it's one of those things where I've been bouncing around different ideas. It's like I got friends that say, oh, you should throw a little 12 valve in it or something.
Yeah. Yep. But then you'd have even less room, would you? I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah.
Boy.
They would have to rechange everything. I mean, it would be cool to have a little diesel in it, but...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's one of those deals where... How in depth do I want to go?
Exactly. Yeah. But
I got
you're
time.
driving it. You're enjoying it,
Yep.
and that's what's important about it.
I got time to do it. I'm only 28 now, so
Cool.
I got a lot of time to figure out what I want to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't know if I could sell it anytime soon. Like sometimes I toy around with the idea and have the money for something else, but
Sure.
I've had offers on it, and it's one of those things where you can't really bring yourself to do it.
Sure. Yeah, I understand. So it's been sitting at your dad's place in storage, but now that it's out and around, do you have room at your new house for it? Like,
Yeah,
building a garage?
My garage, I don't know if it'll fit. I think my garage is narrower than in here.
Okay.
It barely fits in here, so
Yeah.
it'll probably be sitting outside.
Okay.
Usually in the summer, like, because town I was living in before I bought my house, and my grandma was in that town, and she had a big enough yard. I just put it in her yard over the summer, and if I was going to a car show, I'd go pick it up at her house and leave my truck, do the vehicle shuffle. But
Cool.
it'll probably just sit outside. I put a tarp over the top since I don't have side windows.
Sure.
Keep the rain out, which it got hailed on Monday. Thankfully, there was no damage.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I mean, she's survived over almost 75 years. What is it?
Yeah,
Almost around there.
that's a long time.
So
That's really cool.
she's a survivor. Keeps going.
Yeah. Love that, man. And I love that you appreciate the history of it. And I mean, you got a dad that's a trucker, so you definitely have some trucker vibes, with the rig. That's really cool. The cab lights and the visor, and there's a lot of pieces to it. The fan on the dash. There's stuff like that
I grew up like hanging out by his trucks, and he'd bring them home and stuff, and listening to like the trucker music and all that stuff. Get into all that.
Yeah.
I think in high school I had a CB on my my daily car just for the fun of it.
Yeah. Right on. Have you thought about like making it even more like trucker style, putting stacks on it or stuff like that? I mean,
I do have a set of stacks laying around that I might try to figure out how to put on it.
cool.
Just haven't gotten around to that yet.
Yeah. With stuff like that, I mean, it'll take on your personality over time. The more time you spend with it, the more it'll be a reflection of you. So
That's the thing. Like, there's a lot of debate over built, not bought. I wanted to build it. I just, for my budget at the time, because I was only like, I think not even 20. I think it just turned 21. I didn't have the budget to build it because those cabs aren't cheap, and
Yeah.
I didn't have the tools necessary to take a project like that. But like you said, making it mine slowly over time, piece by piece, it's getting to be more mine than how it was when I bought it.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I wouldn't
Very
change.
cool.
I don't know if I'd change anything. Like, I mean, if I could go back, I'd do it again because I love the truck, and
Yeah.
he did pretty good work on it, like really good work on it, and
Yeah.
made what I was looking to do without knowing I was gonna do it.
Bingo. Yeah. You found somebody that had already done exactly what you wanted to accomplish.
Yep.
So in a way, you're kind of taking over the project where he left it, and now you're going to continue on to make it yours.
Yep,
That's cool. Yeah. I love that.
got lucky.
Very cool. So you picked it up in Green Bay and made that trip. I think you talked about going to Pokey Tire with it too, right?
I didn't bring it to Pokey Tire yet.
Okay, you
I
didn't
was thinking
yet.
about it.
You're probably gonna next winter, huh?
I might, yeah, maybe
Cool.
it might make an appearance. Now I'm gonna get all sorts of pressure once my friends see this.
Yeah, but when you get buddies with cool projects and stuff like that, and I'm like, let's go together, let's do this. I got tools, and let's just go. If we break down, that's part of the adventure.
The cool thing about like this kind of rat rod bike culture, everyone's so cool and like a family, and
Yeah.
it can be interesting at times because then you get peer pressured into stuff like bringing a truck to there or getting tattoos for the first time because of the truck.
Right?
Because I actually have a tattoo on my arm that is that truck from Nick.
See, that's cool. Yeah.
Got lucky with that one too. I picked the right one.
So you got tattooed of this truck
Yep.
before you even owned the truck?
No, I owned the truck.
Oh, you did?
He
Okay.
came out and then kind of interviewed me, and there's like a video series they were working on,
Okay.
and that's how I got to meet Nick. And how all my tattoos came about was
Sure.
because of him. Then he had to go and close the shop.
It's an addiction. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he did my whole sleeve. So, yeah. That's really cool. Well, is there anything that we forgot to talk about or mention? I mean,
I want to say
stuff
there
you wanna
probably is, but I'm not going to remember till I'm halfway home.
that's okay. We can always get you back and do a part 2 after you change some stuff on it. And you'll be at shows that we're at. So
Oh, yeah.
you're not going to be a stranger to the podcast or to the channels. So you'll be. And we know it fits in the shop. So, yeah.
It fits perfect.
It does.
We don't have to take the wall out yet.
It's just, yeah. Eventually that back wall is going to come down and we can fit 2 of these things in here. Awesome. All right, man. Well, it was fun to sit down with you and get to know you and get to know your build a little bit. And it's going to be fun to see it change over time. And I love that your dad got you into cars. And now we're going to talk to your dad here in a little bit and get to know him and his project car and the history that goes along with that. And you're still connected to your dad and the car, and you'd like to see your dad's car on the bed of this thing. That's going to be really cool.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. That's right. I love a man with goals.
Yep.
That's super cool. So, Chris, thanks for sitting down and talking to us, man.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for sticking on this episode. It's a lot of fun. And we want to thank wirecare for being our sponsor and our Patreon community, because we can't do this stuff without you guys. So we depend on you, and we're thankful for you. And I hope you catch us again on the next episode. Peace and peace.